Hello and welcome to episode 87 of the 10-minute modeling challenge.
Okej, jag kan försöka. Vill med det?
Hello and welcome to episode 87 of the 10-minute modeling challenge. I'm still on a holiday right here in Gotland, having a good time with my family. But now, let's get back to modeling. Oh, injured my finger. I might have to change the name a little bit soon because last week we did a cyberpunk room and it was, I had to cross out, I couldn't like clickbait it and say it was done in 10 minutes because all I managed to do in the 10 minutes was just a little bit like a rough sketch of it. But then I spent another 80 minutes on that video trying to just detail it out a little bit. And it turned out to be quite popular. That video had a lot more views than some of the previous ones. So I might continue on that theme a little bit. And it's quite fun because I'm learning this in the process. I'm terrible at rendering and I don't really hardly know what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best and I'm going to try to improve. So why not just move on from learning low poly to learning a little bit about rendering as well. So for this episode, I've actually prepped a little bit of a startup file. So you might see that I'm still using the gradient texture here, but there are some slight differences. First of all, the top left quadrant, same as it's always been, but the bottom right quadrant is still emissive, but I've actually included on the emissive texture itself, I've included a shade to black for each of these colors. I'll put those textures on screen so you can see what I mean. But basically, the further to the left in this color here, the more emissive it'll be, and the further right in this little square here, the darker emission it'll be. And the top right quadrant is new as well. It's still the same saturation as the left quadrant, if that makes any sense. But these are transparent as well. So the further to the left I move this, the more solid it is. And the further to the right I move it here, the less opacity it is. So more transparent. What I've done for this texture down in the lower left quadrant here is that the further to the right in a little square here, the more desaturated the color will be. So it's you should be able to cover a lot of the spectras now. If you stay to the end of the video, I'm actually going to run through how I've set up this in a little bit more in detail, but let's get started with the modeling straight away. Ready? Steady. Go. And we're off. Yes. Oh, I'm feeling rusty now. 2 weeks since I recorded the last one. Bring that one down and Control I want to actually delete these faces. And then this one, let's scale that one up maybe, I don't know, 10 times. Ooh, surprise. I've prepped the camera. So cheating. Control R, maybe 8 loop cuts there, and Control R, 8 loop cuts there. And now I'm just going to do, this is going to be the actual rocks face here that the lighthouse is going to be on. So O for proportional, scroll with the mouse wheel here, and then let's just shape this into something a little bit like some type of a rock face thing. I'll just manually drag these, use the proportional. Just want to get some interesting shape here. Maybe like this. Proportional off now because I want to tweak the corner so it doesn't look so strange. Proportional on again. And let's just get some interesting shapes here. Maybe I can do... I just want something that could look interesting as a cliff. Maybe like this. I don't know. That should do. And there. Now let's do L to select those linked ones, and then E to extrude it. L to select the linked, move it down, and that's our base rock formation here. And I also want to add the water, I think, straight away, so I'll do Shift A and add a plane. Scale that one up, and I'm just going to do it roughly so it covers it. And this one I need to separate, so P, separate the selection. And then we'll switch this material here to that water one that I've prepped. So again, stay to the end of the video if you want to see what that material actually looks like. If I can find it. There we go. Water. So, okay, and we should rough this one up too, actually make it a little bit more interesting maybe. So I'll do, I'll right click on subdivide. Maybe we'll do that 20 times. Okay, 20 times. And we'll do some, maybe C to circle select. Get a few of these. And enter GZ, just do some wave formations here. I think I'll just do some manual stuff like this. Enter GZ. And I think I'll just do like this manual approach for it. Just want some, I could have done like a displacement modifier, but we'll see what if this is going to be good enough maybe. Okay, and now let's focus a little bit on the island. So I'll go tab into edit mode on this one again, And we should change the color a bit, maybe some darker gray. We can even go for some like a brown tint. This is the new feature that I've got, the desaturation here. I could go for a slightly brown tinted darker gray there, maybe like that. Can change the color if we want to. And now I want to start creating some cliff. First, scale Z. I want to raise these up a little bit more. So like this. And now we can just proportional with the linked is off there. Proportional on, but with not linked geometry, so it won't affect the water now. I'll shift select a bunch of these. Maybe like this. Proportional. Slant this one down. I don't really know how to offset this one, but I want to have the creative. I want to do this instead of having like a displacement modifier, because I want to control this a little bit aesthetically. For someone who's got no aesthetics, maybe it's a waste of time, but sometimes I like random and sometimes I like to have the control. So maybe create some weird cliff shapes here. Here, but why not just offset that one a little bit more as well? Okay, I just wanted these here. G, rotate them a bit. E to extrude, so like some pointy cliff there maybe. G, E to extrude. I'm not even checking the time now. That bad practice, 550. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna rough out something semi-interesting here. Hopefully, that's the idea. So, and for that's going to be a very base thing. I'm going to add a lot of detail to this in the bonus material here. So, but let's just put the lighthouse here as well, so we know where that can go. Should we put that on the cliff there or down here? I think I'll put it right there. So Shift A, add a cylinder. I'm going to go low poly. So let's do 12 for that one. 8 to select elements, scale 0. Let's go for a white lighthouse here. Whitish at least. And scale it to a bit wider. Now I can sort of check and gauge the size. Maybe I want it to E to extrude and 8 meters. Now I know that lighthouse is 8 meters tall, so I can sort of scale everything else in reference. That should be pretty decent, I think. So we'll do E to extrude. I'll do O to switch off the proportional. You can click up there as well. S to scale it. E to extrude. Here we'll do like some sort of a, okay, let's do 0.4, so that's 40 centimeters, just so I know roughly what size it is if I'm going to import characters in the future. I to inset, E to extrude, and maybe 0.7 negative. Nope, okay, so that one's interesting. We don't really want that, so I'll do, because I have to do something wider here then. Scale, E to extrude, because I want to do 0.7 just for some railing here or something. I to inset. E to extrude down, do that manually. So I can do that transparent at some point, if I have time. E to extrude. Here's like the light thing itself. Okay, I need to probably scale that one down a little bit more. E to extrude, S to scale. Here's the light cone, E to extrude, S to scale. Some protective roofing on top here as well, always good. E to extrude, S to scale, and E to extrude, S to scale. Well, I'll just wing it again, as usual. E to extrude, S to scale. And let's see, here we're going to put the light itself there. That should be all right. I think maybe I can rescale this if necessary at some point. So I've got 326 on the clock there. That's the rough shape of the lighthouse. I think I'll just rough out a little house here too. Maybe we should have something like here. Shift D to duplicate that one. I've got loop tools, so even though I want to make a square, you can actually use loop tools here to do, if I can find it, circle. So circle made a square this time. Scale Z 0, because it's only 4 quads. Rotate it, and we'll make that into a house here. And to get the size now, I'll do E to extrude 2.5. Then I know that it's 2.5 meters high. Again, this is for the scaling purpose, so I know that a person could fit in there. Always good. So it's quite a small house here we'll do. We'll make that one white too, just for the sake of it. Nice plastered house. Like that. I wonder if I'm okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good like this. Like size-wise. So let's put that one there. We can have some fun with this later on, I think, as well. And okay, for this house, I'll do 223. Again, I'll put a roof on it, I guess. Would be good. So Shift D to duplicate that one, S to scale it, scale on the Y-axis, E to extrude, and Control R, loop cut that one. Oh, move it on the Y-axis there. Here think I'll do E to extrude that one. I'll Shift select these two, and then right click and do subdivide. One time, yes, and then I'll pick that one, move that up on the axis there, and then I'll just move this into the house because we won't see this anyway, so let's just hide it. Out of sight, out of mind, or whatever it's called. L to select the link there. Let's make a contrast, so we'll make black roof there. Let's make black roof there, and then here, Shift D, duplicate, scale Y-axis, and E to extrude. Again, I want to put some, like, just some trims here on the corners, so these could be like a dark brown maybe. So these could be wood poles or something. Scale X. I'm not too bothered about perfection, which is great. So I'll just put these roughly where I need them. And house is a little bit offset, I can tell, because they didn't match up perfectly when I moved them according to the axis, but that's okay. These are actually very wonky, but that's okay. So 54 seconds to go, and okay, let's put a window just there for the sake of it then. We're going to move into the bonus material now. So we're beyond the realms of 10 minutes now. We're extending this into bigger, better things. E to extrude. Let's put the emissive here, quite bright emission, I think I'll do. Or semi-bright. I don't want it as bright as the lighthouse. And we'll put a door here too. Scale Y. Sorry, can't put stressful music on, I don't think, because it's not really that stressful, since I'm not going to be able to finish the scene within the time here. But I'll do E to extrude. We'll do like a darker door there, dark brown. And then we'll put some light there as well. I to inset, scale Z. E to extrude, and then put some brightness there. And let's just... Okay, that's it. So in the 10 minutes, again, just like last week with the Cyberpunk room, not much to bring to the marketplace, or whatever you want to do with it. So this by itself wouldn't be that impressive. So, well, let's do a test render anyway. If you stay to the end of the video, I'll be able to show you the scene a little bit better, so you can see the settings that I've used for the materials and the lighting and the render settings. So I'll put that in the end, make sure I'll do some screenshots there so you can do, like, check that out in peace and calm and quiet. And again, for the patrons on the tutorial tier, you can download the scene if you want to, but let's try it out. F12. Okay, so at the moment we just have this little lonely house here, an unfinished lighthouse. We've got a moonlight that's coming in from the side and this water. I'm gonna probably extend this into a full like a volumetric thing. And now I'm just gonna play around with this and see what we can do. So again, not that impressive in 10 minutes, but let's see what we can make it into. So let's see what we should do. First of all, I think I'm gonna do some more details to the island here. I wanna play around with the formations here of the rock a little bit more. So with that, I'm probably going to keep O proportional here. Select a few of these. I'm going to lower these. Thought they were a bit too high. Bring that out. Maybe we'll do like an overhang. G. That could be interesting maybe. Here, I think I want to bring this in and make some serious cracks here. Shift select these. G. Proportional. G. Let's see if we can bring this in further without... Here we go, G. That could be a little bit more interesting maybe. G. And for the water here as well, I don't want this to be just a plane, so I want to extrude this one down now. To do that, I think I'll Alt and Shift select all the edges here so we get them. E to extrude, middle mouse button to lock it to the axis there, and then scale Z0 to flatten that, and then F to just cap that. Actually, I'm going to do grid fill here, so grid fill. That actually seals it in like that. I got some distortion there, but that's okay. I must have maybe move that a little bit sideways, but that should be all right. I think what I'll do as well, I'll Control R and do this too. L to select all the length. Maybe we can jumble this a little bit. So instead of using the displacement, I might just do randomize on transform. Slide that a little bit just to get some different shapes to that water. Let's try that one. Okay, I don't like the jumbliness on the side here, so I'm probably gonna change my mind on that one. Control Z a few times. And then we'll just do manual tweaking here instead, I think. For the waves. That's it. And let's tweak the mountainside here now, or the rocks. Let's put some more interesting features here. Now I can hide the water. I think I don't need to see that one, so H to hide it. And this I'm gonna bring down now, so C to circle select all of this. Actually I can do maybe Control plus here now. Expand that selection. C, circle select, bring that to there. And then scale Z0, E to extrude, and just bring it down to there. And now we can do some interesting things to the cliff. I think I'm going to do like a step coming down here. So maybe I'll do G to move this whole thing in, and then extrude this one. E to extrude, scale. And then here we can do some, like a broken off blocks maybe of rocks. So Shift E to duplicate it, G to move it, E to extrude, G to move with proportional off there, or less anyway. So this could be like broken off rocks, I think. Shift D, E to extrude, G. Maybe this is actually going under the water, no, I'm not sure. Let's see, Alt, I'll show that water again there. So that's disappearing off. Don't really want to poking out. Let's move this one to here. And that cliff could look alright, I think, like this. We could also do the same for this way. I think if I shift select those, Shift D, G, E to extrude, G, and then L to select the length, Shift D, scale Y, G. So these are like breaking off rocks underneath the water there. So should work maybe. Here I think I'll just, I keep having proportional on and just adjusting these. So I should do it. And here, let's put some cliff thing here as well. Is that the right one? Alt Z. Yeah. E to extrude, G to move that one down, Shift D to duplicate it, E to move, or G to move. Bring that down. Make it less square. L. And maybe more pointy. Like a cliff thing would be. Scale it. I could do. And I think I want to lower this even more, like there's, and I'll put some steps up to here, I think. Maybe I'll have to move the light. Not sure what the light is going to be like coming in here. And for the lighthouse here, I guess we should have an entrance to this one too. So I'll select a bunch of these. Where should we put it? I think I'm going to lower this one down. So again, proportional is on. I'll just move this so I can get an entrance into here as well. Maybe with some steps. Maybe select those, E to extrude. There could be an entrance here. I'll put a roof on here, some different style roofing maybe. There. and contrast. So Shift D, duplicate, scale, E to extrude. But I'll move it up on the axis there. Oh, I've got proportional on. I do that quite often. Accidentally leave proportional on, so it moves everything when I've extruded G black. And should we put a feature here? Where should we put it? I want it to have Control R there, scale Z0, Control R. I think I want to have like some features here just to make it a little bit more interesting. Control plus contrast, like contrast often. Here as well we should have something. This one could be a dark color, Control plus, black there. Here now, let's try out the transparent material that we've got for the first time. So Control R for the railing there. Alt E to extrude long face normals. Control R and Control R on the inside here. Control R, that's it. So now if I select these and them, and we'll try out this transparent. So the further to the left, if I remember correctly, is more opacity and less transparency. The further to the right in this quadrant is more transparency. Let's put these glass sheets on there, maybe blue color there. Should probably test render that, so F12. So that's a bit of transparency now. It's like sheets of glass, I suppose. We're gonna do that in the center here too. So starting to look a little bit more interesting now with the contrasts and the cliffs, I think. So let's continue. If we wanted to increase this one, we can check it out. It's quite dark, 0.1, 0.5. If we increase the HDRI coloring here, check that out. I think I want to make it like into a night scene, so I'll keep it a little bit darker for now. But we're gonna add some more lights to it as well, like some maybe some lantern type of things. Okay, let's continue. We'll put another window here. Let's make the frame less white. Let's say Alt select there, Control plus G, black frames, more contrast, or brown, wood. And since I've got the time now, should I add these, like, what, I don't even know what they're called, sprouts? No. L. See if this works. Scale X. Shift D. Rotate Y 90. Scale. Okay, that didn't need to scale. Shift D. Duplicate that one. And I think we can put some more stuff here too. Shift D. E to extrude. See del key, delete key on the keypad there to get it centered around there. Alt E, extrude long face normals. And again, let's go away from perfection. L to select the linked. L, 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 L. Move that on there. Shift D. There we go. And I'm actually gonna just duplicate these and spin them around so I get some lighting on this side. Okay, I'm not gonna do that because that's gonna go straight in the wall. So that makes no sense. So let's get rid of those extras and then again, just select one window. Shift D to duplicate it, rotate Z 90 negative. So I put a minus there as well. Put that there so it sheds some light on the back. This one we can move up. And this framing as well, let's make that different too. Control plus and a brown, dark brown there. I thought it looked a bit weird that this just goes up to here. Maybe we'll change the color on this as well to break it up. So shift select. Of these things. There we go. And change the color to a darker gray. That could be maybe good. Okay, this window's too close. Move that to there. Okay, I think I need to make the door a little bit bigger. Scale. There we go. And now we can start creating the steps maybe. So let's create a big slab here outside the door. Can change the color on this one a little bit. E to extrude that one. So I did Shift D to duplicate it like normal. This one, should we do a different, maybe more gray and darker? Or should it be brighter? Brighter. Different type of rock there. And here, let's do Shift D to duplicate that face. E to extrude. G to move it. Shift D, maybe rotate. E to extrude. Shift D, G, R, rotate. E to move it. E to extrude. Rotate. No. And can I grab that edge? Yeah. G to move that on. And here, let's do those. I'm gonna make like a mini pier or something down here, I think. So Shift D, top view, 7 on the keypad. Rotate this one. G and E to extrude it. Let's make this one bigger. I'm gonna make the steps right here, I think. So then we can grab this one and bring it all the way down to the bottom. To the water. There we go. And maybe bring it all the way to in here. Rotate. Just the nice thing is now that it can just be super offset. Doesn't matter. I don't think anyway. Control R, loop cut. And this is going to be for the steps. Quite big steps, but that should be alright, I think. Control select down to there. And then now we can just E to extrude that into a step. And then rotate. E to extrude. Nope, not first. I need to deselect that one. E to extrude. Let's see, top view. Quite wide steps here. Maybe I'll do period and do normal. Scale Y, G. Shift to deselect that one. E to extrude. G. And this is like carved out of rock, so I'm just gonna E to extrude. Rotate. G. Deselect that one. E to extrude. Should we do a little bit more interesting? We'll do like a platform here, I think. Rotate. Then we'll start extruding this way instead. E to extrude. So here's like a little pier. It's actually high tide or something, so this water is splashing. No, it's not. Let's bring that down to there. There we go. But it will splash up here, for sure. So be careful. Slippery when wet. And G. Now it doesn't have to be so perfect either, so let's make it a little bit less perfect. And proportional, of course, is a good friend here. And we can start to do some beveling of the edges too. There. That should do. And this is, of course, going down into the bottom here. Okay, I didn't actually... That's not a problem. I didn't extrude all of these, but let's just do a loop cut there. Alt Z here. And then extrude this one down. Alt Z, G to move it. That can go well beyond the water. You won't really see the bottom there as far as I know. Or we can cap it or crop it later on. I think I should continue with these as well. It's a little bit difficult to see what's going on here with all the geometry. Usually I rotate it a little bit like this to see. And I think I need to control select to there. So I get all of those. And then we'll extrude this one too. Alt-Z, E to extrude, and down to there. Should be all right. And let's do a test render. F12. I'm just gonna create some more cliffs over here. Shift select. E to extrude. S to scale. Deselect. E. No, that's too much. Maybe like this. E to extrude. S to scale. And pointy one here. E to extrude. S to scale. E to extrude. S to scale. Bring that edge up. And I'm gonna start beveling a little bit here now to get some nicer edges. So I'll select this edge, control select to there. Okay, manually shift to these. Control B, let's try. And bevel that. S to scale that one up, and S to scale this one down. Scale up. So I want to do this manually in selected places to keep the aesthetics that I can't say. Control B. There. Scale that bevel. Scale this one down. And let's bevel here. Control B. Scale. And here. Control B. Scale. Scale that one. Let's put a crack here. Dangerous place to be, this one. So I to inset. I to inset again. S. Okay, proportional off. S to scale. Scale. There we go. Let's make this one darker. There, so this is starting to crack there. Bring this in maybe. Manual tweaking. Control S, save. Here we needed some lights or doors here as well. So I'll have to make room to get in. Should we copy this door? Should we be that lazy? Yeah, we should. L. Shift D to duplicate it. P, comma. Switch to global. Rotate Z 90 minus to get it negative. And let's put this door here too. It's actually going in a little bit too far. Is that one off the wall as well? Okay, I'll have to do this. Control plus. Move this out, L, and move it in. And should we do a slab here too then? E to extrude. There we go. Put a step. Okay, let's do it differently. Control R, E to extrude, rotate. That should be, it's all right if it cuts through, I think, as far as I know. E to extrude, rotate. Okay, let's try that. Should we put like some edging stone here as well? E to extrude. Scale that one. L to select the linked. Top view. Rotate. And Shift D to duplicate. Rotate. G. rotate. Should work. Put some cliffs here, maybe. G. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale. Shift select E to extrude, S to scale. I'm whispering like a golf commentator. Should we put a separate boulder here? Probably Shift D, duplicate it, top view, rotate, G, E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, G. Shift select, Control B, bevel. This one maybe a different color then, for one reason or another. So there we go. And let's put the lighthouse thing up now. We'll do a black roof. Select this, Alt E, extrude long face normals, Control plus. That can be gray, but I want this to be black, I think. E to extrude, S to scale, Control plus, and G black. And here now I have to do this transparent. So, and remember it's the top right quadrant here. Let's make it light or blue, transparent. This is half transparent, I think. And then I should do like light inside there. So Shift D, scale Z, scale it down, move it up. And then the one that's facing us here, I think I'm going to do that emissive. So I'll do this one, the lower right quadrant, remember, is emissive, and all the way to the left here is the most emissive color. So that should be all right, I think. L to select the linked, and let's change this blue to like a solid black maybe. Or should we do a little bit emission, but only a tiny bit of dark orange? Maybe, I'm not sure yet. Alt Z to see through. Scale Z, move that to there. I won't see that now, but when we press F12 now, since those are transparent, those glass panes there, it should work hopefully. Okay, I think I'm going to change the railing up here. Make the roof a little bit less perfect. Here, I think we need another crack. Right, inset. E to extrude. S to scale. S to, I think that's all right. S to scale and darker. And I want to put some light posts now, I think. Okay, bevel this edge, the one that's facing us. And this one too, I think. Control B. That's it. And now let's put some emissive light posts too. So I'm just gonna do, let's pick this one. Doesn't matter what it looks like really. Shift D to duplicate it, scale it down, O to disable proportional, E to extrude, and E to extrude. And then we'll do L to select the linked. Let's do black posts. For contrast again, select this one, Control plus, and do emissive like orange. L to select the linked, scale, Shift Z, and now I'll just place these out, I think. Scale Z. G. And Shift D to duplicate. I can rotate them a little bit, I think. Shift D. G. Shift D. So these are hazard. For hazard as well. It's dangerous here. Wonder how they get the electricity here. Rotate. Shift D. G. To move. Rotate Z. Shift D. Positioning is always a little bit awkward, I think, when you do it this way. I usually just rotate the viewport so I can position it a bit in 3D. Shift D. It's like Minecraft torches. There we go. Rotate Z. Shift D. Should we put them on this? G. G. There we go. Rotate Z. G to move it. G. Z. G. Okay. G to move. I don't know if I should keep putting them on these things or if I should put them on the rocks. Rotate Z. Shift D. G. Z. Rotate. L. Rotate. Got some lights there now to bring you down in the most important places. I think the lights are. Control S. Let's try it out. F12. So it's the compositing that makes them glow with that glare thing. I might increase that a little bit, shall I? Let's see what the lighthouse light looks like again. Okay, I'm not too happy with them. I'm not sure if I should scale them a little bit smaller, I think. L. Scale, Shift Z. Okay, that doesn't work. Period, individual origins, scale, Shift Z. Scale Z to shrink them and move them down. Maybe. That could be better, maybe. And I think I need to make them brighter. Okay, I think I'm going to lower the light level again on my environment, 0.1 again. So we get that lighting more from the moonlight and stuff. And then we'll go to UV editing. And here I'm going to put light under the water as well. Shift D. I think that could be cool. Scale. E to extrude. It's like underwater lights here. Like a submarine base or something. Secret. Not that secret. G. Scale. So it's a bit difficult to see there, but that's underwater, so let's hide the water there. L. Select the links. Shift D to duplicate. Rotate Z. Shift D to duplicate. Rotate Z. So here's our, let's try that one, underwater. Okay, I won't talk so much now. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit and let's keep with the same process going. Just adding, I'm doing a lot of Shift D to duplicate faces and just creating a lot more geometry now and test rendering every now and then. So just to break it up a little bit, make the video a little bit shorter, let's fast forward it. Right, I've added a tree here. Don't know how that survives. I've wonkified TM trademark this building, or just to make it a little bit less perfect. And then did some more details on the roofs here and put some more rocks here. So let's continue. Let's just put some more stuff on it. I'm gonna put some railing as well, maybe some chains and things. Here I'm just control right clicking to extrude to connect these. But they'll be in the wrong height, but that's okay, because now I can do proportional probably. O for proportional, G. Right guys, this is Imphenzia right now here from the editing studio. I'm fast forwarding this section, so didn't really want to bore everyone, maybe like I did last week. It was a bit of a mixed feeling if I should fast forward some parts or if I should just keep it real time. So again, put it in the comments, what do you prefer? Some fast forwarding or just real-time editing, or modeling should I say. So I'm adding more detail. There's nothing new revolutionary here. I'm just going through the same procedure. Usually I just duplicate the faces. I grab a face in the object editing mode there, and I just Shift D to duplicate it, and I create new objects out of it. I like to work that way. I think it's a fast way to do it. I already have the correct material when I work within the same object. Now you can always split these out into separate objects later on in the future. You can just box select or select a bunch of linked vertices and press P and separate those out into separate objects once you're finished, and those materials and everything will come along with it. I'm putting a few more lanterns. I couldn't really think of anything else to put to light up the scene a little bit extra, and then I extruded a bunch of just like faces to create a railing there. And I like to use proportional mode when I edit those, and I just move them into place roughly. There's, you don't have to be picky, you won't really see the details, so just make it quick and easy, quick and dirty. I spent a lot of time rendering the scenes, so F12 and in cycles it takes a bit of time, so even though I've got a fairly decent graphics card, maybe it's time to upgrade to a 3090 or something, if I can save up for that. Because rendering in cycles does take some time, and especially when you got translucency and transparency and stuff, this seems to be really slowing down the rendering process. And I really prefer the low poly look that you get in cycles compared to Eve or Eevee. Eevee is super fast and nice, but maybe I just have to learn those settings a little bit more, but the lighting and everything like that in cycles I think is so much better. But it's quite noisy and takes time, so a bit of motion exercises for myself while the rendering there. I added a little boat, and in the future I might, well, I always say in the future I might, that means I won't, but I could potentially animate the water. I was thinking about that for this video, but I didn't really have time to do it. That's my excuse anyway, and I didn't really know which way to do it. So I think I want to check out if I can animate the waves at some point and also do some buoyancy. Buoyancy? So I get that little ship to bobble up and down. It'd also be cool to get so there are some wave splashes maybe against those cliffs too. So with lack of imagination, I was trying to think of other objects to put through, but I kept just adding more rock formations, a few more lighting and rails, because I think it'd be quite easy to fall off that thing. That's my imagination anyway. And then that tree in the background probably looks a little bit out of place. I don't think it would necessarily grow out there, or maybe it could. Maybe it's like an oversized bonsai tree that's planted there. And again, I couldn't really make up my mind when it came to the settings either. I kept changing the strength of the HDRI environment setting a lot. On and off, I increased it, decreased it, increased it, decreased it. And I couldn't really figure out which look I preferred. Whenever there's choice, you're going to be bound to struggle, I think, to decide on one. So as soon as you move out of the comfort zone of a stressful 10-minute build, I think that's when you start to spend overthinking things. So maybe I should try to avoid that, but hey, it's a learning process for me. So I'm quite happy with the way the scene is lit now, and at some point I add a few more extra lights as well. I have quite a strong sunlight, but that I colored blue, so it's more of a moonlight that I got from the side. I didn't really want it to light from the front. I wanted to have bit of a side view, so you could still see the emission materials there. And then I added a red light from the left and also a really strong backlight. Also, all three are suns. The two to the right are blue, and the left one there that's lighting a little bit from the left is it's got an orange, or I think I changed it to a little bit purple / magenta tint. I wasn't imagining that the sun was setting from that angle and the moon was coming up on the other side. And I kept playing around with a different strength to see which I prefer, and as usual I couldn't really make up my mind. So I just kept playing around with it on and off. And when you fast forward, you realize how much I'm fidgeting with my face all the time. I sort of know that already, but it's quite funny to see in real time. I'm going like fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. So finger exercise, I guess. Whenever I can't press any hotkeys, I need to do something at least. I start saving out quite a few of the renders now. I'm starting to get quite happy, and I'm realizing that it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and that I need to finish this thing. So I start to render with different settings in higher quality cycle setup. And I think a full render at this quality on my machine is takes about 40 seconds, so it's quite fast still in comparison, I guess, to other rigs. It's the setup I've got is Intel 99. Let's see now. Intel I don't know. It's an Intel. Is it called K9900 or something? It's a couple of years old now, I think, that CPU. And then I've got GeForce TI 2080 Ti. So that's pretty good as well. But I believe my friend Lenny, who's also in the chat every now and then, he rendered on 3090, and it was 1/3 of the time that it takes me to render stuff. So I'm quite tempted to get something else. All right, guys, there we go. We've got ourselves a little lighthouse, a little house to go by the lighthouse. Rock island, a little boat, steps going down, translucent water. I think it took about 3 hours to make or something like that. But I fast forward quite a large portion this time. Let me know in the comments below if you actually prefer the fast forwarding or like last week where I kept everything in real time. I'm gonna put some screenshots up of the settings for the rendering and also for the materials and the compositing. So feel free to copy and use those settings and tweak them to your own liking. And a final note, if you become a patron on the tutorial tier on patreon.com/Imphenzia, you can actually download this scene and start making your own little scenes like this one. Why not? So just a quick run through now what I've done. I've got the default cube pretty much down here as usual. I've zoomed the camera out quite a bit here, so I've moved that further away. And I've actually introduced a little camera viewport here in the scene as well, so I can see what I'm going to be modeling. So I'm going to do a little bit bigger scale this time. I'm going to do a little island with a lighthouse on, I think, and some water around it. And I've also got, I want to make it a bit of a night scene, so I've created a sun here as well. Let's check that one out. Or it's a light, which is in the format of a sun. And I actually need to select it. So there we go. And the light, I've set it to blue light because I want it to be like a moonlight in the scene. And a few more things I should mention. Maybe I won't be able to cover everything, but in the shading here, for the material here, it looks pretty much the same. We've got a base color, same as before, but with a new texture. We've got emission here, which is also a bit similar. I'll put that so you can see it as well. And then this one's new. I've got the alpha coverage map here as well, so I can actually change transparency on this because I'm going to be rendering this with cycles and I want to have some transparency there. And that's pretty much it for that one. And I've created a water material here. Water material as well. And it's got a base color here of like a cyan color. I've got these settings. I'll be able to zoom in maybe so you can see these. So it's got a lot of specularity. It's got a bit of roughness, and I've changed the transmission here so it's transparent. And it's, let's see, what else? Transmission roughness. I've changed the IOR here, which is the something about refraction. I don't know, I'm just learning this myself. So I've tweaked this one to become a little bit of a water texture, a little bit of a water material. You can do loads to this to make it a lot better. I'm going to be enjoying to play around with this a little bit more in the future. So what else? For the world here, I've set up this texture from HDRI Haven. So you can download that one too. I can't include that one in the blend file. Pick other ones as well, because I don't actually know which HDRI texture would be the best. but I'm using that for a very low light in the scene, 0.1 here. So that's pretty much it for the shading. For the compositing, I've also got 2 things set up. I've got a little mix node here because I wanted to put this background color. So I'm rendering it with a transparent background so I can fill in this color here. I wanted to customize that a little bit. And then I've put a glare node here so I can put some glow. I want to create those glowing windows similar to what we did in the cyber scene there. Hope you enjoyed this one, and it was a lot of fun to make it. I think I'm going to stick to this format a little bit every now and then at least, because it's quite fun to step a little bit out of the comfort zone and go away from the really short 10-minute ones, and I have to really learn more about the rendering, so it was a lot of fun to give that a go. I'm going to keep trying and see if I can progress in the field of rendering in Blender as well as modeling. So give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week for another 10-minute modeling challenge. Or at least another modeling challenge. See you then. Bye for now.